Hello and welcome back. You're listening to Down the Slope. I'm your host this week. It's Harry instead of Ewan, but we've got four. Ewan's been tagged out, but no offence, Ewan. We've got a bit of an upgrade this week. Joining me, we've got Liam. Liam, how we doing?
You fucking stole my line because I was going to call Ryan for you in one of the best substitutions in Hibs history there, but you took my line, so I'm doing all right. Apart from that,
Greg, we're all getting our digs in it. Ewan, do you want to get your first one of the episode out the way?
Oh, how long have you got? Hope he's enjoying. Yeah, nah, he seems to be enjoying himself. Had worse Mondays ahead.
And how are you doing, Greg, as well?
I'm all good, brother. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Well, Liam, I ruined your line, but you then ruined the guest that we've got on, Ryan. Ryan, welcome back. Second time on the pod, I believe. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks. It's been a long time waiting for the second appearance, eh?
I know, mate, but you have informed me that you've been partaking in Long Banger's Twitter Spaces to kind of level yourself up and get ready to come back. Is that correct?
I've been using them as like dress rehearsals, eh? So no offense to the long bangers guys for that, but this is the real deal now.
Been
You know
playing a
that.
couple of reserve games now. He's at it with the big boys.
I'm up to match speed now. Eh?
Well, that's an argument for you to have with them, not me, thankfully. But boys, you know my rules. Happy Hibs equals happy Harry. Fourth win in a row. Just Hibs are good vibes at the moment. Liam, just were you expecting? Obviously, Lee Johnson promised us a good brand of football and was hoping to be the man to turn us around. Did you expect us to get positive results this quickly? I know that you say it's still a project, but it's a good time to be a Hibs fan.
Harry, we're only beating teams with 10 men, so can you really be that positive? Can you really enjoy it as much as we're meant to not enjoy it? Nah, I don't know. Like I heard what he said when he said, "Oh, it's a project. It's going to take time." But maybe he'll be saying that in mid-November when we've lost four in a row. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't know. I'm very much of the mind that fixtures the last few weeks have been, I think, relatively kind to us, and that doesn't necessarily always translate into wins. But I think in all the games that we've played, I think we've deserved to take 3 points quite comfortably, and I don't think Saturday was an exception to that rule at all.
And Greg, yourself, you're known as our residential most grounded, I think is one way to phrase it in terms of your reaction to Hibs. But how are you feeling about the club at the moment?
I'm actually going to dig you up on last week's comments, Harry.
Okay.
No, Harry, I've got a lot of time for you, a lot of respect. Probably go as far as saying I can tolerate you. But calling Hibs a fun club. Are you all right? A fun club.
Do you want to elaborate on why that's so wrong?
But a fun club. Just because we're a few games in a row, you know, like Liam says, what's it going to be like when we start losing? You know, I just think that look, we've won 4 games in a row. That's good. You know, it's a good platform. I've probably not been overly convinced by us. If I'm honest, I think the game at the weekend sort of proved that. I feel like we were even against 10 men, we maybe sort of couldn't really get out. So, but listen, it is a project, and I know he said 10, 12 games into the season we'll get a better judgment, and so far we seem to have done well, but we still have a long way to go, I think, without being the finished article.
Right, well, we're about to get fired into the game, but Ryan, I was hoping to throw that question out there to get a bit of positivity kicking about. I didn't expect to be shot down quite so brashly by both Liam and Greg. Ryan, I see you as an absolute legend who always tries to get to every game across the country, and I always tip my hat off to you for it. How's it been following the team this year so far? We've had quite a few exciting moments.
I know it has been decent. I would say that I've been most impressed with the away following this season, considering it tailed off last season for various reasons. The obvious being underperformance, but we've sold out every allocation apart from Ross County when it comes to away games. We still took over 1,000 there, so the team have certainly got the back in the stands. So the 3 points that they've been picking up is obviously just reward for the fans at the end of the day. You know that are making the long trips up to Dingwall and that. I mean, 1,000 trips to Dingwall, 1,000 fans going up to Dingwall is it's a big number, eh?
Yeah,
It's
no,
a big number
100%.
to go up there. So no, I mean it's been a lot better this season as to what it was at the tail end of last season. Even the home games have been quite good. terms of atmosphere and noise, But as for the 4 wins in a row, I expected wins in each of those games, so I could say that my expectations were met. I wasn't delighted with how we done it. I think there was things we could have done differently. Winning 2-0 against Ross County, probably should have beat them by more. We had a lot of chances. Same again against Motherwell. We maybe mismanaged the game towards the last 10 minutes. Could have scored a few more. So, I mean, it has been good, but there's areas that we still need to improve on.
But let's get diving straight into that. So Saturday came around. Let's take ourselves back to game day. Was it actually quite a nice day in Leith, even though the weather predicted for it not to be. And the team lineup came up. I think quite a lot of people were expecting Ewan to be out for McCurdy to be the only change, but it transpired that there was no changes, and Lee Johnson's kind of got a solid 11 that he's happy to see starting every week. Was there any surprise at the fact that he kept the same lineup? Was there any disappointment that there wasn't a change there?
Not for me. I was quite happy with it.
I was quite happy until Ewan took the 4 touches in the box when he should have had it the first time. To be fair, I actually drove to the game. Was meant to be getting the bus, but traffic was bad enough, so I just drove, and I'd just like to say that the City Council are a disgrace. The state of the city is an absolute shambles. Took me 45 minutes to get across the city, and that was going 4 different detours, so I just like to call them out and say they're an absolute disgrace.
If
Should
you're
be ashamed
listening,
of themselves.
Just to confirm, if you've got your Greg disgrace bingo card out, so far we've got Harry and Edinburgh Council ticked off, so let us know if you get a full house on that one. Ryan, were you happy with
I live closer than Greg, and it took me an hour and 10 minutes, so I would take 45 minutes, genuinely. It took me an hour and 10 minutes with the park closed on Saturday. I know we're here to talk football and no Edinburgh traffic, but like, it is getting to the point now where I can walk to Easter Road quicker than I can drive, and I live about 8 miles away.
That's less than ideal. Goodness, we're getting some negative Nancy's from Liam and Greg today.
Well,
but
that's what happens when you've got a bunch of fucking pencil pushers and sitting in the Edinburgh Council, basically trying to keep drivers off the road and not having a good enough public transport system to get people from one place to another. It's just not good enough.
Well, you know
Tory
what?
Council.
We don't believe in petitions, but we do believe in Twitter polls. So you can all vote on our Edinburgh City Council bastard people, and then you can all hit yes on that, because I think we can all agree that they are. Ryan, actually, screw the team lineup. What do you think, Edinburgh Council?
Oh man, it takes me the same amount of time to get to Edinburgh from my house as it does to take to get to Easter Road for Inglestown. All right, no. So it takes me a good 50 minutes to get through it sometimes. See, the bottom of Leith Walk is the worst bit. Like what takes so long to put a tram line in? Jesus Christ, man! My barber used to do it when I was 14.
Goodness, that is a corker. But yeah, all right. This is something, boys. I don't know what's going on tonight, but yeah. Anyway, start of the game. The game kicked off, and Hibs. I felt we got off to quite a good start. I think it's something that we've seen quite a few times this season. We're not really finding the net early in games, but we do seem to come out running out the gates and just kind of attacking teams relentlessly, not getting too many shots away, but just looking really intense. Personally, I was quite surprised when Greg said that he was unhappy with the way the team's been playing, because for me, I think that we've got a tenacity about us that we've not really had under the last couple of managers. I would say we've not had this form of level of aggression in the team since probably Lennon's days. And for me, even when we aren't playing particularly well moving forward, I think we kind of maintain that like aggression through the game. Liam, what did you make of the start of the game, and then kind of sum up the whole half, because there wasn't really too many like wow chances?
I thought we were really, really good for about 15 minutes. Probably the first 15 minutes of the game, I thought we were really, really good about putting the ball back in it. Like all the things you've talked about, tempo, aggression, just I thought all that was spot on. And then I think from about 20 minutes onwards, I think some of the Motherwell players sensed that things weren't going their way, and there was a huge amount of rolling about. I think the physio was on maybe 3 or 4 times in the space of 10, 15 minutes. It just took the fucking tempo and the pace right out of the game, as it always does. And that's their right to do that. That's how the game works. Teams can use that as a tool when things aren't going their way to slow things down. But I thought they really milked it. I know the boy, I think was it Spittles ended up with broken ribs or something. So I think his maybe wasn't an incident rolling about, but there was quite a few others with the defenders. And there's something on us in terms of how we manage that. So when players do go off or the game does slow down, we need to find a way to inject that tempo back into the game, and hope that's something that we'll work on. But we created lots of openings and chances, just didn't have the finishing touch.
And Greg, overall in the first half, at half time, you were slightly frustrated. Can you talk us through that?
Yeah, going back to what I said previously, I wasn't unhappy with the way we played. I just think in spells we've not been convincing. And it was the same again on Saturday. Like Liam says, we started really quickly. We took the game in our control, and then we just sort of fell off the end of a cliff. And we couldn't seem to get out our own half for spells. We couldn't seem to make passes. Nothing was really coming off. And it was quite frustrating to watch, to be fair. Obviously Hibs are only going to just batter teams for 90 minutes, but I felt like when the game was slowed down, we didn't do enough to get ourselves back in control. But yeah, I mean, I think it's sort of been the story of Hibs for the past 3 years. We're one half merchants. Like we only play well for one half. And going into half time, I thought we'd still be okay. I still thought it'd be fine, but I just wanted to see a little bit more from us in the attacking areas. A couple of good chances in the first half that we just didn't take. The scramble in the box where I think 4 or 5 folk had an effort and nobody could actually hit the ball. So we had chances, but I just felt we lacked that edge in the final third.
Yeah, I think the word you put was just simply wasteful, which I think is kind of a good way to summarise the team in the way it's been, particularly against 11 men, whatever it's transpired this season so far. But Ryan, random one that I saw today was the fact that Hibs have got the second most fouls in the league after Kilmarnock. We're not actually picking up too many bookings for our triples, but we are getting properly stuck in. Do you think that's part of is that a culture change that Lee Johnson's intentionally pushing for?
I can see Liam smiling because he knows what I'm going to say.
I do know what you're going to say.
I think Hibs give away an enormous amount of petty fouls that aren't needed, but at the same time they aren't bookings, right? In the last 3 or 4 home games, they've all happened in the last 15, 20 minutes, when it kind of does give the opposition a chance to get back into the game, whether it be through a ball in the box or working something to get near our goal. It's something that needs to stop. It is the most infuriating thing ever. It's little shirt pulls or tugging at a player, or even when we're pressing and we've got the other team down in their own kind of corner flag area, we seem to just give away fouls all the time, whether it's clumsiness or just being stupid. So that could be one of the reasons that we've had the most fouls against, to be honest with you. It's not necessarily getting stuck in, because I mean, that would probably average out with the rest of the teams, but it's the petty fouls, man. They've got to stop.
Aye,
but then the worse for that.
I was going to say I need to stop calling it. I need to stop calling out Jonio, because I always do. But I was going to say he's kind of got that reputation of just grabbing players and kicking them in the ankles just to annoy them. Like he does it all the time, eh? But
he is the worst for it. Whenever he's chasing a boy back, you just see the arm coming round, and that's it. He's pulled him back. Stupid foul. He's going nowhere.
Although I must say, I'm surprised Spittle actually broke ribs with that tackle in the first half. They looked absolutely nothing in it.
Didn't look bad. It must have been yours trailing leg or something.
I'd broken ribs and still played 3 other times that week, so maybe Spittle needs to grow up.
And that is something we can all agree with. Spittle, get going. But yeah, then half time rolled around, and yeah, personally, I was quite happy going into half time. How was the atmosphere around the stadium? Where I think the Boo Boys weren't out at all. It was just kind of mellow.
Yeah, it was just pretty down the middle. I don't think anyone was really booing. I don't think there was really any reaction to the halftime whistle from what I can remember.
I thought the atmosphere was really good on Saturday. We missed out a key thing at the start. I think Sozzy being there gave everyone a bit of a lift. I know he was only on the pitch for about what felt like maybe about 15 seconds, but I felt like that gave everyone quite a bit of a boost. I thought the attendance actually on Saturday looked really good as well. I know there was a few photos doing the rounds that not been full, but there was 4 boys. I don't know if you were in at this point, Ryan, but there's 4 or 5 young boys who were trying to find a seat in the east because there was no other seats, and they ended up sitting in where the wee false sort of TV gantries at the top of the east, and then the security boys came and chucked them out of there because there was no other seats where they could sit together in the east. So it was pretty cool. Even the famous 5 lower, I thought looked good. The only real the only part of the stadium struggling is that part of the famous five upper where the singing section used to sit. But nah, I thought just attendance and atmosphere was really good. Even at half time, I didn't feel like the fans were getting on the players' back or anything. To be honest, on Saturday, I just thought the mood was generally really good.
Obviously, there was moments of frustration, but I didn't feel like the team ever lost the crowd. I felt like the crowd are sticking by the team. Like, we can see what they're trying to do. It maybe doesn't come off all the time, and that's where the frustration comes in. But I think the fans are really sticking by the team, and it's good to see, because obviously we've seen atmospheres in the past under Maloney and Jack Ross where the fans just straight away are against the team, and you can feel the energy change. But I feel there has been a real shift in the atmosphere this season, and getting the attendances back make a big difference.
Definitely.
Aye.
And then moving into the second half itself, I always get my timelines wrong when I look back at games, especially at moments that were relatively close to one another. But I believe that I don't think it should even be discussed, but it will be. The penalty incident for Motherwell, I think, took place at the very start of the second half. I think even before the red card incident. Are you even aware of the penalty incident that I'm referring to?
It's
I
that
see
irrelevant.
it.
I know what you're talking about.
Aye, so there was.
So I did see it, but I don't get where the penalty is coming from.
Yeah, so
If I'm
essentially,
honest.
I think it was Shields went down. So they had a set piece, crossed it into the box, and then Shields like moved away from goal to get the ball. And then, you know, when like a defender will like follow the player out, and then Hanlon, from the looks of it for me, didn't make any contact. Shields went down, and Sports Scene are saying with VAR it would have been a penalty. And I just like watch it back, because honestly, I was clueless to it, and I was like, I don't know what they're talking about. That is never a penalty in a million years.
Yeah,
So
no, I
yeah,
didn't see it with live time or anything like that. I didn't really see any fuss over it. So, and I refused to watch sports.
it's something I'm trying this season, mate, and it's not going to last much longer because it is a struggle. Like Mikey Stewart wasn't even brave enough to be on again after Ryan Porteous had a good couple of weeks, so we'll see if he ever returns. But yeah, speaking of Ryan Porteous, the man of the moment ended up in an attacking position and getting Motherwell a red card. Obviously, it's a cause for concern how many red cards our opponents are picking up this season. But there's no complaints at all there. It was just an absolute calamity of a counter attack, and I don't know how we managed to get the ball near the edge of the box. But absolute red card, correct decision from the ref, and that red card was kind of what it is, isn't it?
I think he's conned the ref there. I think it's blatant cheating.
Yeah, it's smart play from Porteous though, because the ball does break and he reacts far quicker than Shields does. But obviously, they're kind of in parallel positions. Like a centre back getting tracked back by a striker was a very bizarre situation to be in. But it was good play from Porteous. It was messy play to build up to that. It was the worst counter attack I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, it was horrific. There was about 2 or 3 passes that were just all over the place and hitting off the back of the guy who's trying to pass it to him. But Porteous has done well to press up pretty well, though, hasn't he?
Yeah,
Josh Campbell tackling Martin Boyle. I wouldn't even say it's smart play from Porteous. I think he's just been instinctive. He's gone and picked the ball up, and like, he's driving at goal. Not sure what the end product would have been, but like, the boy's pulled him back because he knows he's nowhere near him, and like, it's a straight head. There's not even a question about it.
And Liam, I actually felt after the red card, Motherwell probably had their best spell of the game, to be honest. I think that for some reason they actually seemed to come out a bit more after they went down to 10. It's like, because obviously when you've got 10, most teams will sit and then they'll try and hit you at the very end and get that goal and take the smash and grab. Whereas Motherwell kind of attacked us for about 10 minutes and then started sitting in. Did you get that vibe as well, or did you think the game kind of continued down the same path?
A wee bit. Aye. I mean, they probably had a sort of 5-10 minute spell at the beginning of the second half as well, where I thought they looked decent. I thought the boy Efford, I think he number 11. I thought he caused us problems for spells in the game. Not on a consistent basis, but just every now and again when he had picked up the ball and there was a bit of space for him to run into. I thought he looked quite dangerous. Van Veen was very, very quiet by his standards against Hibs. I didn't really think he did anything remarkable, to be honest, in the game. But they had wee spells, but I think Motherwell have proven under Stevie Hamill they're not a bad side. I think they were absolute search for relegation under Graham Alexander, and I think they were probably right to make the pretty swift call. I think they'll be all right this season because they've got enough in their locker, probably to finish 10th or higher. But yeah, they kind of caused us some issues without really ever making the goalkeeper work. I think the only save that he really made was the one for Sean Goss from range, where he kind of brings down his left foot. And that was it. That's all Marshall had to do, apart from be first to clearing the ball, which he's very good at.
That was a decent save, but again, you know, sign of a good goalie is a goalie that does nothing all game and then pulls out a save like that. So I think the defence have been good the last few games, and I've probably been Handler's biggest critic. And I think he looks so much more comfortable. You know, he's playing alongside Porteous. He looks like a football player again. He's heading the ball. He's not even getting involved in the physical stuff. You know, and I think against Van Veen that's very easy where you can get dragged into that. But he just played his own game and he's been superb, to be honest. And 3 clean sheets out of 4 games speaks volumes.
And you guys know.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I thought that he has been pretty neat and tidy and everything he's done on the ball as well. I haven't seen him really put any big wild diagonal passes astray or like that. He's kind of.
Oh, there was one on Saturday, to be fair.
I knew you wouldn't miss it if there was one, though.
Listen, I don't miss much. It went out of play because that's what every diagonal pass that he plays does. But defensively, he was very good.
Hey. And you guys know how I love a segue. And speaking of defenders, Hibs go up the other end and yet another game in which a defender's given us a lead. And it was the same boy as last week. Liam's prophecy of Ryan Porteous becoming the top goal scorer in world football might well be coming true. Liam, how did Ryan Porteous manage to get that much power on a header? Because it wasn't even coming fast towards him. He just, bang, back of the net.
I think you see the starting position of where his feet are to where he ends up, and he really does throw everything at it in a sort of a diagonal kind of fashion, which is why he gets so much on it. It was a very impressive header, which has kind of been overlooked because there was a huge amount of chat about concussion protocols and all that shite not all that shite actually. I shouldn't dismiss that because it's quite important, but like there was quite a lot of chat about the whole incident and leading up to it and the red card, that it's maybe been missed actually how good a header that was, and the determination that he showed to go and win it, because in some respects he was there to be won, but you've got to go and get it, and he just does a very good job of putting it in a place that Liam Kelly can't get to. He's got to be the weakest goalkeeper in the league, Liam Kelly. I've never ever seen a guy at a professional level football look so small. Like in the goals, he's just small in all proportions as well. It's just nothing to him at all. Like anyway, small limbs. Maybe if he had longer limbs, he'd be decent.
I always used to think Andy McNeil was really small.
He was. Andy McNeil used to get called Lofty, though. That was his nickname, eh? So. He is really small for a goalie. Like, but as we know, tall goalies aren't everything. We know that tall goalies don't necessarily mean good goalies.
We need somebody in the middle, somebody about David Marshall's size.
Hey, all right. Let's segue away from Greg for a second, just because if we come to him on tall goalies, we'll be here all day. But Ryan, we've not given you the chance yet to give Ryan Porteous some praise. Just how good has that man been the last couple of weeks?
He's been Hibs' best player by a distance, I would say. Everything he does with purpose. He starts attacks from the back, and when he goes to win a ball, he does it with a purpose that he's going to win it. Everything he does, he's passionate about it. He shows aggression in his tackles. I think also, like, he sets an example to those round about him, and maybe the new players coming in, it shows kind of what the club can mean to the fans, because he's kind of a reflection of that, isn't he?
Definitely.
I think he drives the standards up, definitely. He's that kind of guy that's probably nipping at training and moaning all the time for the right reasons. So when he takes onto the pitch with him and he doesn't get involved in any of the nitty-gritty stuff, I think it shows a good example for those round about him. So both in the way that he's playing and the way he's behaving has been a massive attribute to us.
Definitely. And Greg, just whilst we're singing Porteous' praise, have you got anything else to add on him?
Nah, just a top quality centre-half that... Whether he signs a new deal or not, it's a privilege and a pleasure to watch him every week.
100% it is. And
seeing as you know here, can we just remind all the listeners that Ewan said he'd sell him at Millwall for 500k?
Yeah, man.
I love fucking
Oh.
digging cunts out when they're not on the pod, like, especially when Kenny's going to be listening to this tomorrow morning. He's suddenly just, I would seriously sell Porteous for 500k. If someone came in for him 500k, I'd sell him. He's yours.
I actually remember saying that I would rather watch him for another season and let him go for nothing, and sell him for whatever. So let's just dig him out again, right? Because he's said so many bad things in the pod, and it's funny. Mustafa, this is your life, you and Wilson. This is the shit you've ever said in the pod. Yeah.
Imagine how many Sean Mackeys you could buy with that 500k, guys. Come on. Left backs for days.
He wanted Cadden
50.
dropped and he wanted Sean Mackey given a lifetime deal. So I'm sure he'll tweet us tomorrow with something not even remotely funny, but he's trying to be witty about.
Do you know the funny thing is, look at the career trajectories of Josh Doig and Sean Mackey. Like, Josh Doig's pulling up trees in Serie A, and Sean Mackey, no disrespect, but he's probably found his level at League One.
Yeah.
Tells you what you know about that shout.
Okay,
Hope you enjoy your holiday, Ewan. Don't rush back.
No, I hope you were enjoying your holiday.
Like
you definitely know if you're listening to this. Goodness, absolute lambasted. But yeah, on the game itself, as we touched on earlier, there wasn't really anything too worrying from Motherwell. Motherwell aren't a bad team by any stretch of the season, I think it's fair to say. But we looked untroubled again. That's our third clean sheet in 4 games. Defensively, we looked absolutely immaculate. So we'll do what we do after most wins, and we'll all just give praise to a couple of players that we noticed and we thought were our shining little stars. So for me, first up, I thought Noah Kenna probably had his best game in a Hibs top. I thought he was absolutely immense. I think Motherwell's midfield absolutely collapsed every time he was anywhere near them, and I think he just brings a presence. I hate the whole unlocking other players because I don't necessarily think it's true, man. You peddled that about Pogba for about 4 seasons. Every single new signing in the midfield would unlock Pogba, and it never happened. But Joe Newell does look like a different player when Kenna's on the pitch, so I definitely think there is something either chemistry-wise or system-wise that suits when they're both on the field together. So for me, Kenna, just to annoy Liam, is the first name on the team sheet. No, I'm joking, but Kenna definitely is an automatic starter. And another one as well for me, before I move on to you, Ryan, you're coming next. I think Campbell again was good. I just, every time he's good, I want to give him his credit because I was really harsh on him last year and I want to try and retract as much as possible because he has been really, really good. And again, I thought he was consistent. I think he looks comfortable on the ball and he's an absolute nuisance when chasing people down. And he's just such a nice player to have in the team. But Ryan, who was a couple of players that impressed you at the weekend?
So I won't go for anybody obvious, but we've already touched on Paul Hanlon. So I would say that his form's probably coinciding with Ryan Porteous' form, and it's all coming together at the right time, which is great for us. And Kukarevich, is that how you say it?
Yeah, we'll go for that today.
Had problems with that in the past, but he's actually been quite good up front as a focal point. His feet are decent as well for a big guy. There was a couple of times he kind of drifted out wide and tried to create something going towards the byline, and he's more than just a target man, which is quite impressive considering the size of him. So he had a good game as well. So happy with that.
Nice, definitely. And Liam, a couple guys yourself?
I think if we all named 2 players each, that'll mean that we've all named 90% of the starting lineup.
Yeah, no, you can name the same players again. Yeah.
I'll just name one. I think Barry Wilkins did a really good job interviewing Frank Sozzi for the game. I thought it was absolutely superb.
And Greg, anybody, even if we've mentioned them, that overly impressed you?
Kukarevich. Definitely him. Marshall again. Yeah. I've just said it too. I mean, I think Joe Newell was good as well, but listen, it's a team game. So teammates. Yeah. So listen, everyone's got a part to play. I thought everyone done well. Thought Martin Boyles would be a little bit quiet throughout the game, but still managed to rack up an assist. So.
A couple of players that are worrying me a bit, I'd be interested to get all your thoughts on. Ellie Yuan, for me, I think looks like a really tricky player. I would hate to defend against him, but I just think he takes far too many touches. Like Greg touched on it earlier, at one point he had the ball and he could have just whacked it, but then he took it to the side, then he took it inside, tried to go back inside, and then he took a shot, and it's like if you just hit that straight away, you probably at least test the keeper. I don't know if he's overthinking things or if he just. For me, just hit the ball, Ellie Yuan, and stop frustrating me. There's quite a lot of murmurs on Twitter, and I don't think they're quite. I don't think they're warranted. I think he's a good player. It's had a good season, and just because he's not scoring goals, I don't think makes him a flop or useless. What's the consensus on Yuan at the moment?
I like him. I still really like him. I think there is on Saturday. I thought came away from the game feeling like there's maybe just a bit of a like football brain lacking. Like I just think he makes a lot of bad decisions. But I still think he's a talented player. I heard something on Saturday. I didn't realise that he couldn't speak English, and I think there's maybe an element of some stuff being lost in translation a wee bit, just in terms of what he's been asked to do. Because I think sometimes he doesn't release it when he should release it. So I think your point about too many touches is right, Harry. But also he does some quite strange things in the box and around the box at times as well, which are not maybe. They don't look like what he's been instructed to do for me sometimes. And then I think times where he should get away from people and make a run away from the ball or go wide, he kind of comes into the central areas. And I don't know, either he is doing what he's been told and he's right, or he's not quite understanding the instruction. But for me, there's definitely a player there. And I do think left wing's his right position, by the way. I don't think he's number 9. But I can understand why he's starting to frustrate some folk.
For me, it's like decision making and like key moments. He was dribbling. He was just inside the box on Saturday. He had a touch. It was right in front of him, and instead of squaring it or shooting, he decided to take another touch and dribbled it out of play. So it's like decision making at the vital moment.
Aye, and Greg, I know you've been a bit frustrated with him, especially over the weekend.
Yeah, I think when I had that chance early on Saturday, I was just hit the thing, whether it's left foot or no, just get a shot away. And then he had another one, and I don't know if it's a confidence thing or if that's just the sort of player he is. He just wants so many touches, but I think it's going to get to the point where if he's not scoring, then he will be taken out of the team, and I think McCurdy will probably be the one to get the nod. But look, he's got ability, there's no question about that, but I feel like in the box he just crumbles and he doesn't know what he's doing. But outside the box, and his build-up play is good. He's got nice touches, nice flicks. But as soon as he gets in the box, he just seems to really struggle, and it's almost like he's caught in a few different minds and what to do. So I don't know if he might need more coaching or whatever, but I think he might get to the point where he is taken out of the team.
And for me, interesting, you touched on McCurdy there, because I know it's been an incredibly small sample size and it might be a bit harsh from me, but I've not been overly impressed in his cameos late in the game. I think like the good thing that's there is there's a lot of effort. I don't think that he's shying away from wanting the ball, but I just think when he's been on the ball, he's been a bit disappointing. I think he tries to be direct, but he maybe gets a bit overexcited. It's like, when you get a puppy and they get a new toy and they're just like, oh my God. He seems a bit like that whenever he's on the field. So for me, I think he just needs to calm down and just chill out a bit. Ryan, what was your initial impression from the first couple of times you've seen McCurdy come on?
It's difficult to really have any opinion on him just now because of the very limited amount of minutes that he's played. There's obviously a wee bit of fanfare surrounding him. A lot of people are calling for him to come in. I don't know what they're basing that off of, because as somebody that watches Hibs, not Swindon, we can't really say because I haven't seen anything. I'd love to be able to be shouting for him to come in, but as you say, from what we've seen, a lot of effort, little product. I don't know if he's the kind of player that maybe just can't come onto a game when he comes on as a sub, or if he's frustrated that he hasn't been on from the start yet, but still to see something. I mean, there's no doubt he's probably got ability because brought him in for a sizable fee, but he's going to have to start showing something in the next couple of games that he plays for the fans to really be shouting for him.
Liam?
I think he's looked okay. Yeah, he's high in energy. He kind of looks a bit different from most of the other players in the team. So I think you notice a lot of what he does in terms of just physically how he looks. I haven't really seen any product from him that really suggests there's anything spectacular there at the moment, but it's just such a small sample size. I can't really say too much. Nah, I'm not. I'll just be honest. Like I support every player who plays Hibs, but I'm struggling to see what all the excitement was about at this moment in time. And I think the ball across the box on Saturday, no one's really talking about it, but that's a gilt-edged chance when he misses the header. I know it flashes across him, but he's got to be prepared and he's got to get something on that for me.
And Greg, just to change it up slightly for you, Dundee United, who are you starting, McCurdy or Ewan?
McCurdy.
And why so?
Just think they're there to be got at. I think a striker who's got a good goal scoring record. I think he deserves. I think he deserves a start, to be honest. We can get him involved in running at the end, then I think we'll be okay. I think that although the result the other night was a good one for them, I still think they're vulnerable at the back. You look at the chance Miofsky missed. I think anyone in Hibs team puts that away, but yeah, I just think they're there to be got at. McCurdy's pace coming off the left. I would rather see that than Yuan, who maybe isn't the most confident at the moment, tries to take too many touches in the box. I might be miles off it, but for me, that's what I would do.
Fair enough. And I think we'll leave the Motherwell game there. I think it's fair to say not too many things happened. They tried to force some controversy with a penalty. It definitely wasn't. Absolute red card that can't really be debated. And then just a bog standard good goal for Hibs. Well, not bog standard. It was an absolute power header. Like, when did you ever play? We called it 10 and down or sting, when you'd have like the rules in and around the box. Like that was a proper power header from Porteous. Like when it gets to the final one, you have to do a strong header to get by the keeper. One of those ones, corker. But yeah, moving on. We won't touch on the Dundee United game too much, just because we've already done a preview for that. Then a certain person decided to derail all my plans by dying, so that was selfish. But now the game is being rearranged for this coming Tuesday. And Hibs travel to Tannadice. And much like most of the games we've played this season, teams tend to have their best result of the season just before they play us. Dundee United absolutely thumped a struggling Aberdeen side. But yeah, being honest, coming into this game, I'm not overly worried about Dundee United. But Ryan, come to you first again. Would you rather be playing Dundee United now, or would you have rather played them when we initially were scheduled to play them?
Kind of 6.5 a dozen, although I think we've probably got a wee bit more of a bounce and a bit more confidence now than we might have had done at the time, just based off the fact we picked up another 2 wins since then and another 2 clean sheets. So given the base that we're working off now in terms of the defensive structure, I think it's a good time to play them. Although they've just beat Aberdeen 4-0, we're a totally different proposition. We don't look like a team that's going to concede a lot of goals in comparison to Aberdeen. And I think we've got players coming back from injuries now, which we wouldn't have had done first time round. So obviously, Kyle McGuinness, he might even come into the team against Dundee United. So I think, yeah, it probably is quite a good time we'd be playing them.
Yeah, and yourself, Liam, do you think this actually comes at a better time with us? Because obviously back then there was no momentum at all for Dundee United, but Hibs were kind of low in confidence and not looking great. But I think we definitely look a lot better now than we did then.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm quite big on timing being quite important for fixtures, but I just don't really know how to read this one. I think in some respects it's kind of ideal team time for both teams, to be honest. That we've won 4 in a row. We're going to take a bumper crowd up Tannadice. But then for them, they've just finally broken the duck of not having won a game this season. So I think both teams will be looking at this and saying this is good timing from both their points of view. Similar, same recovery period really Saturday to Tuesday. I know that can be quite difficult because not really a huge amount you can do on the Monday in terms of preparation 2 days after a game. So I think it'll be fine. I think both teams will be thinking it's perfect.
Yeah, and I remember at the start of the season, Greg, Dundee United looked like they were going to be an alright team. Obviously, we didn't understand quite how bad Jack Ross was going to do there. I don't think anybody expected it to go down quite how it did. Under Liam, I was about to call him Scott Fox. Under Liam Fox, is this an okay Dundee United side? Is this a side that you could see potentially pushing top 6, or do you reckon that they'll still be kind of down around that bottom end of the table?
I don't see them pushing top 6. I don't think they've got enough. I think the best they'll get is maybe 7th or 8th. I don't think they'll be any higher than that. Certainly, they've not really got any players that worry me. I know Tony Watt started scoring a couple of goals this season, but I think we've proved that we can defend properly and we can score goals. So I'm really not concerned. I mean, I know that Charlie Mulgrew's been poor this season, so there's nobody in that team that really worries me. Niskanen's a good player, but even then, I wouldn't be that concerned going up against them.
Yeah, and if we're looking at this team, whereabout is it that Hibs can kind of get at them? Because away Ross County and at home to Motherwell, it was two places that I thought personally that we could get at those teams. I thought they played this particular type of football that Hibs kind of counteracted. In terms of this Dundee United side, where should Hibs be looking to exploit? We'll come to you for that one, Liam.
Our front three against their back three. Simple as. We've got pace and abundance and they've got none. So I honestly think it's as simple as that. I think when we previewed this game, when it was originally supposed to happen, it was something we spoke about at a fair bit of length. I think our quickness up top and our ability to get the ball forward in positions, potentially and behind that back three, but I also think just even facing them up, I think will cause them problems. Guys coming deep to pick the ball up and running at them. I want to see guys taking players on. I think will cause them a lot of problems in that respect. I think there'll be goals on Tuesday night. I really do. 2-0. But no, I do genuinely think we will score goals on Tuesday night with the threat that we've got up top against their defence, because they will want to play deep. They won't want to play a high line against us, and I think that poses problems when you've got midfield runners. If teams play deep against like say Josh Campbell, Joe Neal, potentially even Kyle McGuinness at the later stages of the game, because they expect he'll be a substitute for someone at some point in the game. I think that's a worrying prospect for Dundee United, to be honest.
Yeah, and speaking of Dundee United away, I think it's quite a fun away ground to go to be honest. I've had quite a good few memories there. Greg, we'll come to you first. Have you got any particular Tannadice highlights from across the years?
The game where we won 1-0 in the Championship. F.A. Ambrose strolled it that night, had a cigar smoke out. Also the 3-0 game in the Cup last season, I thought were really good.
Was that not 3-1 in the end?
Yeah, I don't know. But without actually being that great, I thought we were good.
Yeah. Joe Neal got a goal, didn't he?
Yeah, that was Scott Allen as well.
Oh, what a man. Hey, Ryan's coming in with all the facts. But Ryan, can you give us any other games that you've enjoyed at Tannadice?
No, I'm going to go recency bias and go for what Greg said. Nice. I think you were there, Harry, that night, were you not?
I was indeed, mate.
Yeah.
I was indeed.
Yeah, I was a decent crowd. No, like purely based on like recent memory, that's one of the better moments in Tannadice in recent years. And then we got to the semi against Rangers after that, didn't we? Yeah. So yeah, we had a couple of good days out there, eh?
And Liam, any from yourself?
Favourite memories?
Just Tannadice in general.
Grant Brevner's hat-trick in the Scottish Cup.
Oof. Was that like Lee Griffiths at Kilmarnock-esque?
Better hat-trick.
Okay. Oh, wow. I doubt better atmosphere, though, because that was quite a day, that one.
And we took a fucking, I don't know, like I would say that I wasn't at the Lee Griffiths hat-trick game, but we took some crowd up to Tannadice that day. So I think it would take some beating.
Aye, well,
some beating.
Statement.
Am I right in saying that Aberdeen proclaimed themselves the best fans in the world for taking 4,000 on a Saturday night, and Hibs not taking like 4,000 on a Tuesday night?
Pretty much, aye. Pretty much.
There's levels to this
like
game.
a couple of hundred tickets left, I think, and that's it. But they're still for sale, so I would suspect they'll sell out. Like
our manager sits in the dugout, the manager sits in the stand.
Aye. Well, my next question, boys. The manager's made it kind of easy for us by picking the same team every week. But is there any changes we're expecting? But you know what? I'll just ask the obvious question. Greg, you're not getting asked because I've already asked you. But Liam, who are you starting, McCurdy or Ewan?
Still Ewan for me.
Just because you think he's better option out wide?
I think his pace as well gives them problems that maybe McCurdy wouldn't give them. And I do still quite like the balance of having him on the left and Boyle on the right. I do feel like if you've got another guy that's got the pace on the other side, it doesn't mean that maybe makes it more difficult for defenders or teams to focus on one particular threat. So it's more what he can do for the rest of the team being in the team.
And Ryan, yourself, who would you start?
Even though I've just slagged him, I'd probably go for McCurdy. He probably deserves to go from the start. We can see what he's got then. Just something different. Dundee United won't really know much about him either from his time at Hibs, so be something different for them to contend with as opposed to Yuan. And that's not. I'm not dropping him out of the team because he's not playing well. Just think that maybe McCurdy's been on the last 2-3 games, so maybe deserves to go on from the start.
Yeah, fair. And would you personally start McGuinness over anybody, or would you keep the midfield the same?
Yeah, if McGuinness is fully fit, I'd love to start him. I just don't think it'll happen. I think he's a great ball carrier and he's quite good on counter attacks. He's very fast in transition, so a lot quicker than Joe Newell, who's got like the tendency to hold on to the ball too long sometimes when we're trying to counter. But I just can't see it happening yet. I think Johnson's obviously trying to protect him as best he can from any like reoccurrence of his injury, which is probably the wise thing to do.
And whilst we're winning games, there's no point in risking players to injury and stuff as well. So, but yeah,
but I mean, I'm sure we would all love to see him back in the starting 11 though.
100%.
What I liked about him on Saturday was he came on and got stuck in straight away.
Aye.
He didn't shy out tackles. He was getting stuck in. So obviously he feels a level of confidence in the way that he's feeling in terms of fitness. So I don't think he's too far away. Like it's still too early at the moment, but look, he's going to the tackles. He's getting himself involved. So I think he himself is confident in the way that he feels. And to be honest, he's had that many injuries that he will know when something's not 100% right. So no, it was good to see him back in the team as well. So more to come.
And speaking of more to come, more Hibs to come tomorrow. Greg, what's the score going to be? Hibs against Dundee United away.
I'll go 2-0 Hibs. We don't concede goals.
Hey, no with Paul Hanlon at the back, we don't. Liam, yourself.
I'm going to go 3-1. Repeat the last season's League Cup scoreline. I think there's going to be goals in the game, and I think we'll show our intention, show our hand very, very early. And I think it will be 3-1, but I think we'll probably leave a few out there as well.
And Brian, don't worry, we'll save the best till last. I'll go for 1-0 just because I think it's actually going to be correct. And every time I say 3-0 or 3-1 or 3-2, we only ever score 1-0. So I'll stick with that. But Ryan, yourself, what's the score actually going to be? You can enlighten us all now.
Clean sheets, winning games, 3-0 Hibs.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Unbelievable. So we've got a full house of wins, which we never had too much last season. But boys, big it up every single time. But I absolutely love this section of the podcast. I think it's very fun. And it is that time for listeners' questions. For those that are listening, I tried to indicate to the boys to celebrate when I said that, and they did not oblige. However, first question we've got, as we mention every week, Jeff Ashton prefers to send us statements as opposed to questions, which we enjoy, but I'll read out anyway, and then we can kind of answer it best we can. So Jeff said, the left wing conundrum. Do you think fully fit Dimitri Mitchell is a better option for LG's preferred style of formation? We're not getting the best out of either Yuan we're not getting the best out of either Yuan or when McCurdy is there. It's really the only bit of the team not fully firing at the moment. So essentially, in short, would Demi Mitchell, if fully fit, start at left wing?
No. We're just getting
away. Man.
And if I was to pivot that, if Aidan McGeady was fully fit, would you start him at left wing?
I like the balance that McGeady would give us more than I like the balance Mitchell would give us. Because I think if you have Mitchell and Boyle, you've got two wingers that prefer to stay wide. I think you want a guy that's going to be prepared to come inside on one side. And I think that's why Yuan's still in the team to a large extent. I like McGeady better than Mitchell, but Mitchell's a funny one. Like, I just don't even really know what to make of him as a player, because he actually looked quite good for a few games and has been injured ever since. So
the most I've seen him was probably at left wing back when Maloney's shot spell. He played there a few times. I've not really seen him that far at the park, although I think that's his natural position.
Aye. Yeah, what about yourself, Ryan? If you had a starting left winger at Hibs, who would it be? A fully fit squad?
I probably echo what Liam says, to be honest with you. It does give you that bit of natural balance if you were to have McGeady out there. Only thing is that he would need to improve in his end product from what he had earlier in the season if he wanted to be a mainstay.
Yeah, fair. And Jeff also said, I wrote Paul Handler off after the Livy game. I was so wrong. He was obviously ring rusty after his injury and made me eat my words, apart from the St Mirren game where the whole defence were shite. Long may it continue. Him and Porto look super solid. Yeah, I think it's fair to say we all agree with that.
I wrote Paul Handler off about 6 years ago.
Mate, you wrote his obituary about 6 years ago.
I'm not saying I've written him back on, but he has been good.
I'm interested in this, Greg, actually. I was thinking about this at the weekend. What's your perspective on the importance of partnerships when it comes to centre defence? Because
huge, mate.
Because I think if you look at kind of the successful sort of centre half partnerships, you've got the whole right left thing, which I think is important to an extent. But actually, just in terms of the type of two centre halves that they are, Porteous and Hanlon, you couldn't really find two more different players, really, could you, to play that position in terms of their strengths? And I just wonder, Porteous has improved markedly over the last few weeks. Hanlon's come to the team, looks strong. It's almost kind of like the partnership's kind of re-established itself.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. I think that the left-right balance is important. You've also got a goalie behind you that instills confidence, which we didn't have last season. You've got a left back and a right back that like to get forward and can also defend. So I think that defensive unit at the moment is pretty much where I would want to see it. You know, a goalie that can pass the ball, distribute, can pull off saves, shouts, talks, the lot. So really, you've got the perfect balance here at the back.
See, every time I'm at Easter Road and I see David Marshall, I just think to myself, we are so fucking lucky to have him.
Yeah,
because we would never get a goalkeeper of that quality any other way than him being Scottish and this essentially just being the twilight of his career and him coming up for a couple of years and probably transitioning into a coaching position. I just look at him and go, thank fuck we've got David Marshall. And it's not about any goalkeepers that came before or anything like that. He's just so impressive in everything that he does.
I don't even think you can compare him to any other goalie because he's got a lot. Usually Hibs goalies have got one area of the game that they maybe lack in, whether that's communication, shot stopping, distribution. He's got a lot. There's a reason he's captain. And some of his passes are ridiculous.
He's levels above what we've had before in the last forever. He's levels above.
All right, well, Ryan, whilst we're singing the praises of the defence, I'm going to read you out a question followed by a statement, and then you can just answer it how you see fit. You and Craig, Craig21 said, is it a coincidence that Porto's return to form coincided with him playing next to a fully fit Paul Hanlon? Scott Miller 1 responded to that saying, for me, Hanlon coming back and allows him to play as the right-sided central defender where he's much more comfortable and can step into midfield to start attacks. Playing next to Rocky can't have been easy as, although he has improved, he's still very raw. 1, is that harsh on Rocky, who had a good start to the season? And 2, as Liam and Greg were touching on, just how good a centre-back partnership is Porteous and Hanlon?
It probably does kind of detract from how good a start Rocky did actually have to the season, because when he was playing, he was probably our best player at that period in time. So I wouldn't say it would have been particularly hard to play beside him. You've got to remember, when Rocky was playing, Porto wasn't having a fine run of form at that point either. However, Hanlon coming back in probably complements Porteous when being able to play on his natural side. And as the guys were touching on there, they're two very different players. So whereas one might go and attack the ball in the air, the other one will drop. One will go with the runner, one will sweep. You know, they probably complement each other in every area of the game because they're so opposite. And then also playing next to Cadden and Cabrillo on either side gives them that kind of balance, as well as the goalkeeper who actually comes off his line to collect a one-on-one. You know, it's made a massive difference to everybody's game back there. I think it's looked absolutely solid. And I'll tell you, there's few times that somebody's actually been in behind the defence, you know, because you've got the keeper starting at a high line, you've got guys with pace that can track back. I think it's all come together at the right time.
Hey. Indeed, it has. But a bit more fun questions on the agenda now. LG and Cow456, James Kinneberg, asked, as a club, can we request to rearrange the New Year derby to right now? Because I can't wait to see the Jambles fall apart in front of my own eyes. So I'll rephrase that so it's an easier question to answer. If we were to play at Tynecastle tomorrow, how many goals would we beat Hearts by? Greg, we'll come at you first.
Yeah, 0-0, boring draw.
Liam, any disagreements with that?
I would love to play them now about their centre halves. I must say, like about Halkett and Rolls, I would love to play them. I don't think they two are anything hugely special, but it's just the players that they've got filling in there are so poor. Craig Gordon, probably lucky not to have had another howler on top of his howler yesterday. I would love to. I'd love to play them on Saturday instead of go to Celtic Park. But we talk about importance time in the fixtures. That game for us, to be honest, the draw came at entirely the wrong time of the season for us. It wasn't a good time in that derby, and we said that it would have been better to play them on match day 11 rather than play them on match day 2. But it wasn't to be.
And Ryan, your thoughts if we play Hearts tomorrow, how would it go down?
Nah, I think we should keep it New Year because it'll be even worse by then.
Yeah, by the time they come back from the World Cup, if any of their players come back from the World Cup, weirdos. So if it was me tomorrow, I reckon we beat them maybe 6-0 if we were to play them tomorrow, but that is just me. Unlucky Dundee United are going to face that instead. And Lee Rose, what a guy, asked probably my favourite question we've received so far since we started this. His question is, Hearts are shite. More of a statement, but thank you, Lee, for that.
I would tell them to grow up, but, well, difficult.
I don't know what you're talking about. But
Jokingly,
Ewan
love
Wilson, what a guy. Ewan Wilson asked, I don't know who this weirdo is with a name like that. How's the weather? In response to that, Greg, Liam, Ryan, you are all allowed one free slag off of Ewan. Please feel free to cash that in whenever you want before the end of the podcast. Ewan, it is night time, so the weather's irrelevant. Bit of a stupid question.
I think the weather's been all right today. It's been quite a nice winter day.
Nice, crisp, sunny day, aye.
All I'm saying is 3 words: wreck it, Ralph.
6 degrees Celsius on my dog walk this morning, June, if you're counting temperatures. I know you like to count seats occasionally, so count some temperatures.
It was 11 degrees at 12 o'clock in the car. That's not bad. It's nearly tropical.
But to be honest, it's not quite Turkey.
What's Ewan getting done in Turkey? Does anyone know?
Must be his teeth, eh? He's got a good head of hair, so it must be his teeth.
I don't know that. Nah, I feel like his hairline's falling out of his forehead.
He's got a shankland. The hairline's not going back. The forehead's just getting bigger.
Oh my goodness! Right, back on track. And Nick,
and if you're laughing, if you're crying through the tears, mate, if you're crying through the laughter, then I'm not even sorry.
There was some sincerity there, Greg, to be honest. But Nick M at Ball187 asked, said, little over a month ago, many Hibs fans were up in arms and thought Hibs were going backwards under Lee Johnson and Ron Gordon's stewardship. Has the sentiment changed, or is it just on hold pending our next shite result?
We all know that football fans are so reactive and fickle, including ourselves. So as soon as we lose a game, it'll be back to that. I lost my shit deadline day because I thought we'd made an ass of the Harry McCurdy deal and we'd be left without a striker and we'd have to wait till Nisbet was back. So I had a bit of a meltdown, but football fans are so reactive to whatever's going on. Nobody looks at a long-term game unless you're sensible.
It'll not be long till the Ian Gordon out banner's getting unfurled again, I think. As Greg said, it just takes a loss, man, but shouldn't it always be like that, eh? There has to be a level of patience involved, or you'll never get anywhere. Just sacking managers periodically every 6 months.
Look, I don't think we should be sacking managers after a loss, but...
No, but I mean, there is large sections of the fan base that start to question what's going on at the club as soon as you draw 0-0 at home or something like that. I mean, there's more to football than that.
For me, I already know what's going to be brought up when we do lose a game. Like, why is Jan playing? He's not scoring, or typical Joe Newell, he wasn't good last year. He's been okay this year. Josh Campbell, blah blah blah. Still no sign of centre half. Like it's just the usual stuff that's going to be regurgitated when we do lose.
Absolutely. We've heard it all
You
before.
could play Hibs loss meltdown bingo, and you'd win every time. Same stuff.
Liam, any differing opinions from that?
Nah. Just like see if you're ever a low ebb, like go back, or not even at a low ebb. See if you're ever on a high, right? And you're after a high after a Hibs defeat, and you want a bit of perspective. Go onto Facebook, right, and go into Hibernian Football Club on Facebook and look for the last status update when we lost the game, and you just want to see some of the fucking comments that comes out on the Facebook page. Like, I think Twitter's bad. Take a look at Facebook, Jesus Christ. I don't mean to be harsh, but the average IQ of Facebook users is sub-zero, Like, it's really, really bad, Like, people that respond to those things on Facebook, we've probably got a few people listening to do that, and I've just offended them all, but I don't really care because it's genuinely horrendous. It's horrendous. Or there's a boy, that boy Steve McKenzie on Hibs Twitter, he's the most negative guy in the world. Like, Hibs could win 3-0, and he'd be like, aye, but Ron Gordon, I just care about his intentions. I think he's a bad guy. Like, everyone is always negative. Some people, Some people.
Oh.
It is, but like we laugh about it, but really it's not that funny. I remember when we used under Jack Ross towards the end of his tenure in Maloney. I think it was Craig Fowler used to have go live on Facebook with Edinburgh Evening News, and he would react to the game, and all the comments under it would be like, "Oh, this is shite. Like, Hibs are shite. Like, get him out. Like, honestly, we wanted the manager sacked every week." Especially Maloney, when it didn't start working for him, folk were wanting him out. So, like, football fans want success every week and all the time,
and there's also the problem with football fans as well. As soon as they said someone's shite, they kind of double down until they are then shite.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Joe Newell, a few times I've said I think he's had a poor season. I wouldn't mind seeing him drop for the team. And as soon as he starts playing well, I'm like, fair enough. He's made me look like an idiot. Fair enough. But most other fans would be like, nah, he's still crap. He's just had one good game. He's getting away with it. Just be happy to be proven wrong, people, if it goes good for you.
I actually had someone say at the weekend that his stats that he's had this season are masking his performances. But I think he's been good, and the stats don't lie. So
stats don't lie, Greg. You're right.
But also, Ryan, your eyes don't lie to you. So who do you listen to?
Well, moving on to the next question, we've got.
Harry's got more eyes than the rest of us. But...
All right, well, thank you for slagging my disability, Greg. Much appreciated. But moving on to the next one, we've got Jack Kell, 1875, and he asked, is there anyone you consider resting versus Dundee United? A big one for me is Boyle, as he had no pre-season, has played almost 90 minutes in every game, plus he started at an international level. That's a good point, to be fair. He didn't have the pre-season, so he has been kind of thrown in for every single minute. Would you consider resting him, or do you think that the points on the board now are a bit more important?
Just because his pre-season was at Disneyland and he's blown Barry Mackay out the water. You know.
I think he's probably too important to drop at this point. It's still so early on in the season, and that resting is probably the term that I would use for you, Anne, instead of dropping them.
Aye.
Well, we'll get a rest at the World Cup because Australia will play 3 games and they'll be out. So
that's the team I'm rooting for at the World Cup. Don't say that.
You're rooting for them, are you? Oh, Jesus, man. Fucking hell.
No,
that's fucking plenty.
Harry, we'll have a discussion in the group chat later about why that rhetoric is unacceptable.
Fair enough. Oh, God. Wow, the whole team hates me
you
again.
You actually set yourself up for an absolute pasting every week.
I do. I try to have fun with my friends, and then I realise that all my friends are my enemies. But anyway,
you didn't like the fun club shout, and he got away with saying nice player earlier on, Greg, and I didn't pick him up on it. I let him go because you'd already given him one, and I was like, I'll let him call that player a nice player.
Do you want to hear something really ironic, guys?
I love Harry, right? I love Harry, but he doesn't help himself. Like, you can't say half time properly. He has to say the half time. Like, he's now in that
Boys,
mindset where he can't even
boys.
say half-time like a normal person.
How did they pronounce Inverness that week? Was it Inverness or something? Or
Yeah,
Inverness?
Inverness.
It's like, yes, come on, the Inverness.
All right, well, actually, Jack had a two-part question. At the end of his question, he literally said, "No Harry slander." So thanks, guys. You've let Jack down. But his question was, "What is your favourite type of cake?" And he said, "No Harry slander today because I don't think broccoli cake exists." So that's me getting roasted from everywhere, including Twitter. Thanks, Jack. But favourite type of
So
cake,
he wanted
guys?
no Harry slander, then slagged you off anyway.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Yeah, Jack, you're popular in these parts now, mate. But anybody got a favourite type of cake?
Carrot cake.
Oh, solid. The icing on carrot
You're
cake's
going to
banging.
get slagged an hour now. That's the order.
Oh, come on, man. Like, there's a wee
Solid
bit of my
cakeage.
day in there.
Carrot cake would be very low down the list. I mean, like,
Yeah. I would probably either sponge cake or chocolate cake because I'm a normal guy.
You slag me for carrot cake.
That's a bit basic, bitch, Greg, to be honest, eh? Ooh, I eat my
What
chocolate
do you
cake
want
when
me- what
Love
do you want me to
Island's
say,
on. Ooh.
What do you want me to
Are we
say?
Victoria?
Nah. Let me give me it. No taking that of you anyway, carrot cake.
Okay,
Harry.
All right,
Harry,
Liam, what's your
just-
favourite type of cake?
I'm not really big on cake. It doesn't really do much for me. If I had to choose a cake, it would probably be lemon drizzle. I quite like a lemon drizzle cake. But can I say something I've always wanted to try that I've never tried? In the US office, they have ice cream cake quite regularly.
Yeah.
When there's a party, I've never had ice cream cake, and I really want to know what it tastes like.
Just to update you, Jack, if you go on Twitter, did find a picture of a broccoli cake, and it doesn't look good, guys. So don't look at that tweet. But yeah, no, ice cream cake does sound very interesting. Did you ever have cake from Costco? That cake was like notoriously good. That was the cake that they would always bring into school when it was someone's birthday. But that cake, the icing on that, banging, really good stuff.
And when I went to school, everyone got their cakes for most listeners who've been to Leaf will know that exists this place, but the Sicilian pastry shop in Albert Street. Shout out to them because they're just absolute fucking diamond people. But the cakes at the Sicilian pastry shop in Albert Street are just absolutely. They're out of this world. The strawberry tarts and the cannolis out of there. Oh my god. Best.
Cannoli,
best of
they're
gear.
a Godfather phrase.
I like a cannoli. Cannolis are good gear.
Hey. But boys, I've got four more questions for you, and then we're good to wrap up. So Kevin Wilson asked, could Kenner turn out to be the discovery of the season in very impressive form right now? I would say yes, he could be.
He's heading in the right direction anyway. My only concern at the start of the season was his distribution, but yeah, he's been all right recently. He's been all right.
Fully agreed. And then from my favourite listener to the podcast, we've got Elaine Lumsden, and she asked, is it time for Ewan to be dropped? And I think we've kind of answered that. But the second part of the question, who do you think is our strongest attacking combination based on what you've seen so far? And you can either make it a 2 or a 3, whatever your choice is.
Nisbet's in that argument. From obviously what we've seen from him, full season and a half. Boyle just leaves one other for me. I'm undecided.
So far, I would say Nisbet, Kukrevich and Boyle.
I was going to say.
Would you be putting
I would-
Kukrevich
I'd
at
see
white?
No.
I'll just say the three that played on Saturday because I've seen them play together often enough to say that I think they're a threat.
Well, Elaine, I'll be bringing back the famous 5 myself. So I'll be Kukrevich, Nisbet, Boyle, McCurdy. Is that 4 or 5?
It can be a 2 or 3, and then you proceed to give us 5.
No, he's only giving us 4 at the moment.
Two and
He's lost
Melkerson
track
gets in
after
as well.
4.
Melkerson gets involved as well. What a guy. He looked nice and direct when he came on. What a guy. But yeah,
Give away a stupid free kick though. It doesn't fly, Liam. It doesn't fly, does it?
No,
does
never
not.
does.
That is my pet hate when you can see it coming a mile off as well. You're just like, what are you doing?
I'm surprised the management team kind of hear us through the back of the East Stand, man. Absolutely blowing fuses up there.
I know.
Boys.
Particularly with the Falkirk at his Brody, like, they're going to hear him to the bottom of the stand. Some chanter on him, eh?
We've got a two-part question, but I'd be shocked if you didn't know who the last question of the pod was from this week. John McIntosh, of course. He said, first of all, can we just appreciate how good Joe Newell and Paul Hanlon were on Saturday and this season in general? I think those are two players that did come under quite a lot of criticism over the summer and at parts last season. So I think definitely good shout out to them for being good. Yeah, that's a good point, John. And then final question, Ryan, you can end us off, but Liam, we'll come to you first because you always tend to be fancy schmancy with it. What's for dinner?
Beef Rogan Josh. Wee heat job for last night. I like a Rogan Josh.
Hey, Greg, what are we having?
Yeah, just bag ball.
Solid. Was that Elaine cooking or are you cooking tonight?
Yeah, it was Elaine cooking. Yeah.
Nice. Well, Elaine, I trust Elaine cooks good dinners, so that is lucky you, Greg. Myself,
she does. To be fair, yeah. Been cooking me good dinners for many years now.
hey, I've got bassa fillets with mashed potatoes and garlicky green beans. And for some reason, garlic and green beans actually goes really well together. Would recommend. And Ryan, what are you doing for your dinner, mate?
Wait a second, I'm going to ask. Wait a minute.
Ryan's on tour. Oh my god, we've got a live reveal, guys. If you're not on YouTube, get on for the last couple of minutes here. This
I
could go anywhere.
reckon, given Ryan's workplace, it'll be a trifle and probably, I don't know, like lentil soup, trifle and cottage pie or something like that.
I'm Sanny.
Dinosaurs.
So I've been informed. It's pulled pork buns.
Ooh,
no
solid.
bad.
Bit of pulled pork.
Bit of halloumi. Yeah, no bad.
To be honest,
to me, like.
I've found out we are quite halloumi enthusiasts on this pod, by the way. Halloumi's come up quite a few times.
I love halloumi.
It's
halloumi.
very good cheese. Very good cheese. But
It's lovely. Bit squeaky, but nice.
Bit squeaky.
that sounds like me. Yeah. But,
nice again. Liam,
hey.
see that? Nice again. Everyone's nice.
Every week I'm trying to be a nice guy, Greg. Every week.
They're a bit soft.
Now you're a nice guy.
I was doing so well. But yeah, thanks everybody so much for listening. Ryan, thank you so much for joining us again. It was a pleasure to have you for the second time.
Thanks for having me on. Thank you.
No, hopefully it'll be a bit faster having you on again next time in the future. Liam, Greg, hope you both have a lovely week, and tomorrow is the highlight of it, of course. And thanks everybody for listening. Goodbye.
Take care.
Cabbage.
God bless.